History behind songs. It begins not with fame, not with the spotlight, but with something far more human loss. In 2017, Ed Sheeran released a song that didn't rise to the top because of catchy hooks or chart-friendly beats. It quietly broke millions of hearts. Supermarket Flowers is not a typical pop song. It wasn't designed for the radio. It was written for one person. And in fact, it was never even meant to be heard by the world. The song tells the story of a mother's death, but behind the lyrics lies something even more intimate. Ed wrote Supermarket Flowers after the passing of his maternal grandmother. But she wasn't just someone in the background of his life. She had moved into his family's home and spent her final days there under the care of Ed's mother, Imogen. During that time, Ed watched his mom take on the role of a caretaker, emotionally and physically, facing a quiet, heartbreaking routine of saying goodbye day by day. After his grandmother passed, Ed's mother began clearing the room, removing small items that were part of her presence. Among those things were a cup of cold tea, used pillows, and a bouquet of supermarket flowers placed by the windowsill. That simple image, a bunch of ordinary flowers in a dying woman's room, stayed with Ed. He turned it into a song, not to release, but to play at her funeral. It was never meant to be shared. It was a private tribute, a personal farewell. But when his father heard it, he couldn't stop crying. The rest of the family had the same reaction. They all told him, "You have to release this. It's too beautiful, too real, too human to be hidden." That's how a song written for a single family moment became the final track of the Divide album and one of the most emotionally devastating songs Ed has ever released. The lyrics of Supermarket Flowers don't try to be poetic or abstract. They're painfully ordinary. I took the supermarket flowers from the windowsill, threw the day-old tea from the cup. These aren't metaphors. These are real objects, mundane. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful. It reflects the true nature of grief. Not in dramatic scenes, but in everyday moments: an empty bed, a quiet room, a half-drunk cup of tea. It captures the silence that follows someone's absence more than their life ever did. But the most powerful shift in the song happens in the chorus. Just when the weight of loss becomes almost too heavy, Ed flips the emotion. "You were an angel in the shape of my mom." The grief transforms into gratitude. He stops mourning and starts honoring. He stops focusing on what was lost and remembers what was given. His grandmother was more than her final days. She was a guiding light for the family, someone who gave love without asking for it back, someone who shaped the lives around her through quiet strength. But here's the twist that many listeners don't catch at first. The song isn't from Ed's perspective. It's written from the point of view of his mother. When he sings, "You were an angel in the shape of my mom," he's stepping into his mother's shoes, honoring not only the woman who passed, but also the woman who carried the weight of watching her die. It's a double tribute, one to the grandmother who lived, and one to the mother who stayed strong. And that makes it even more intimate, even more layered. It's rare for a male artist to write something so deeply maternal. But Ed doesn't shy away from emotion. He embraces it. And through that vulnerability, the song becomes not just a personal story, but a shared experience. When he finally performed Supermarket Flowers Live, it was never about entertainment. It was always about healing. He opened a space for people to grieve, to cry, to remember their own stories of love and loss. And that's why this song resonated so deeply, because everyone has stood in a quiet room, surrounded by the belongings of someone who's no longer there. And in that silence, we search for meaning. We find it in memories, in the smell of an old pillow, in a forgotten song, or a half-used bottle of shampoo. Supermarket Flowers became more than music. It became a mirror for anyone who has ever lost someone. It's been played in hospital rooms, whispered in late-night car rides, used in memorials and funerals around the world. It became the background music to millions of private goodbyes. And all of it started with a single image. A bouquet of supermarket flowers sitting on a windowsill, quietly marking the end of a life that was anything but ordinary. Thank you for watching.